aggressive. Who knows?
Well, we do see a 12 gate going down for Elfi, and that is fast. At the same time, we do have that spawning pool going down first for DIMAGA. He knows the probe is there, scouted nice and fast, and is going to prevent him from expanding. So he's going to take gas, and at the same time, when I say he's taking gas, he's playing very safe in doing so. He's going to get speed up almost immediately from that as soon as he gets the 100 gas. And usually you see players go in spawning pool and then into a hatchery after it, but he's going to play completely safe.
Yeah, and I think what he's perhaps afraid of on this map is potential rush tactics from Elfi, and I would hardly blame him. He knows that his opponent doesn't want to go into a long game on this map. He absolutely despises the very idea of it. So he'll try to do his best to make sure he can defend against some kind of early aggressive play and then get those expansions going, and then start to roll over his opponent. Whatever the case, we'll see what comes from Elfi shortly. Cybernex core is well on its way to completion, and then we'll see precisely what he wants to do. Second gas being taken on one base at this point.
DIMAGA's just confirming that Elfi is there, is just checking the wall off. You know, has he gone Forge Expo, has he gone Gateway Cybercore? So he knows that that is the Gateway Cybercore there, and it is not Gateway by the Nexus. The first Gateway is on the front, so he knows it's completely walled off. Meanwhile, 4 Lings are out and going to chase his probe out. Going to get that expansion, has taken off gas as well, so he's going to pump all his drones through these minerals and get that income back from going gas early. And wouldn't be surprised if he starts the second queen almost immediately from this main hatchery now and get ready to creep spread, connect, and go down to that natural.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't do that, honestly. There we go. There's a quick scout right here by Elfi, who is going to see pretty much everything. DIMAGA looking to flank around. Now, there's nothing really hidden right there for Elfi. He sees that the spawning pool is working on something, and of course it is going to be metabolic boost. So, what is Elfi's game plan from here, really?
Well, he's poking out with the Zealot and Stalker, going to put a bit of pressure onto these 4 Lings, forcing DIMAGA to make more. And DIMAGA actually pulls back before he sees the Zealot and Stalker here. He is making... Actually, no, he did see the Stalker, sorry, with the Observer on the natural. So he sees he's poking out, builds more Lings, great pressure from Elfi, knowing the timing of speed, knowing that it's not done yet, forcing more Lings out, and then pulling back here, and he's going to go into this 1-gate Expo. We'll be able to wall off with a pylon very in the lower ground and add that second and third gateway very, very shortly here.
Yep, DIMAGA sees the timing of the expansion absolutely perfectly. That's another wonderful thing about Test Bug, is the way that this is extremely close to the expansion point. You can hover an Overlord over there, no problems whatsoever. Very difficult to take down. And in come the Zerglings right now to apply a little bit of pressure right here. And he actually has quite a few, so he's going to have to deploy some force fields quite well right here. This would be really unfortunate if this ended up getting denied right here. It's actually quite low already. Putting the pressure on now, 50 HP. There's the force fields right now. They're not in particularly good positions. It just lives, though. And he's just able to defend that one.
Yeah, very nice play from Elfi there. That cancellation would have been a nightmare for
Absolute
him.
disaster.
Still,
yeah.
It's still good for both players at the moment. They do successfully get their build off, as we see the hatchery gone up on the natural, and a lot of drones being put down there. 25 at the moment, but a lot of drones about to pop. 29 plus 5 more about to pop, so we're going to go up to 34. The lair has begun, the Roach one has begun as well. DIMAGA choosing not to go for a fast third this game, and look at this. What is Elfi up to?
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a double Stargate play, and it's funny because we thought perhaps that Stargate would be the thing to do on this particular map. You remember a certain game with the Stargate, don't you? That was actually the ECL last week. It wasn't the same kind of matchup. It was, in fact, Protoss versus Terran, but it seems to me that Protoss just absolutely adore Stargates on this map. The double Stargate, though, is a very, very aggressive play.
Yeah, this is going to catch DIMAGA off guard by a lot. The fact of the position of the Stargates is the most important thing. Knowing that DIMAGA spawns on the left-hand side, knowing that DIMAGA is not likely to have an Overlord swing all the way around the map to the back of Elfi's base, and we do have these Phoenixes on their way now. And he's basically what Elfi's going to try and do here is harass as much as possible with these Phoenixes, build up 4 to 6, go harass, pick up Queens, and then really surprise DIMAGA, and then follow that up with a really strong push.
And it would work, honestly, and since it is primarily Roaches right here from DIMAGA, he's going to have a little bit of trouble actually doing anything to that. That said, Phoenixes have a lot of trouble doing that to Roaches, but they just simply do not care. They're going to go for the Queens, they're going to try and pick off these drones as well, and he's going to have the opportunity to do just that, and Phoenix is built so incredibly fast.
DIMAGA not yet with a Spore Crawl. I wouldn't be surprised if he threw one down very, very shortly, knowing that something could be up. He has no Overlord, sees that there are no really units being made in his vision now, but he started Roach speed and +1 missile attacks for these Roaches, is making Roaches at a comfortable drone count of 48, basically the minimum saturation of these two bases now. And all these Phoenixes are starting to make their way over. They pass these Lings, and now DIMAGA knows what's up and instantly throws down that Hydra.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's forced Roach Hydra composition right here, and I wonder how Elfi will actually exploit that. Surely he thinks that his opponent will do something along those lines. Queen's going to end up getting picked off at this point, and Elfi does have quite a lot of energy to smash and grab right now. He's going to grab some drones in the process, and really, I mean, I would perhaps be focusing on these overlords that we call completely out of position, and it looks like he's going to do just that. He's going to go right for those overlords. He can take down 3 right here, which would be a little annoying, but DIMAGA doesn't have to worry too much about that. He's actually got plenty spare, and now forcing the Hydralisk. Now, here's the thing. Elfi is now forced Roach Hydralisk, and it's +1, so how do you respond to that?
Well, he's going to get the robotics facility up, as you can see. Probably go for a Colossus timing attack with 2 or so. And right now, we do have a cannon. A bit of a counter-attack from DIMAGA. We'll be able to pick off a sentry, maybe the other one as well, if Elfi isn't careful. Yeah,
and actually, he has very little to defend this. Elfi's not responding right now with these sentries whatsoever. There's the quick wall-up, and a smart play there, and the cannon is now up. So that's going to be problematic. In the meantime, these Phoenixes have just been incredibly annoying.
And they took a lot of damage from the Hydras then, as Elfi was trying to control these sentries, and DIMAGA using these Roaches so efficiently to get trapped in. Unfortunately, they are doomed for this game.
Yep, they are gone, and Elfi, now having lost a pylon, is supply blocked, and he will be so for quite some time. He's going to add a Void Ray to his mix right here and continue to try and force Hydras. And then I would imagine he'll try to go for the big force field, big death ball, which is absolutely fantastic against that. And Elfi just lost a ton of units right there. Threw several Phoenixes away, took fire from the ground from the Spore Crawlers, and of course the Hydra spawning under that. But there's that Robotics Bay, and DIMAGA forced into a Roach Hydra composition for the moment.
The biggest problem now is this creep spread's pretty forward at the moment, and he's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on this front wall here, these 2 gateways and cannon, and I'm not sure if these Phoenixes actually did enough damage. They were shot down very fast. He only has 3 left, and they're going to be needed to defend here. Now Elfi is actually on the back foot despite being the aggressor in this game.
Yeah, he really is, and yes, while he's killed a lot of units, he's only killed 7 workers, so that double Stargate investment may have held him back. It may have forced Hydras, but the plan's got to be perfect now for Elfi, and he will flank around and he'll grab both Hydralisks. Unfortunately, he now doesn't have the damage perhaps to take on. Maybe he does. There you go. And he then gets caught out of position, losing 1, 2, and the third almost goes down. And now this big Hydra army with some Roaches at the front is going to go crashing into Elfi's wall, and he doesn't have a Colossus yet.
Group spines now complete. The Hydras have their range upgrade. Now they're going to go to town on these gateways. Force fields won't do too much at the moment. And now DIMAGA's looking pretty good. Colossus at 50% out, and DIMAGA takes the 3rd base behind this. 10 Roaches in production, +2 is not so far away from finishing either. And look at these, both gateways are going to go down. The Colossus will come out very, very shortly to push this back. But at the same time, the Spire has already been started.
Yep, and it's not going to have Lance, and that's perhaps the vital thing. It can't outrange the Hydras, which means it can be torn apart incredibly fast. 2 gateways taken down right now, and Elfi having the pressure piled on him, and DIMAGA is, of course, safe to now secure the space down here.
Crisp timing here by DIMAGA. Pulls back and immediately knows that the Colossus is going to come out. And look at all these gateways have been added on now. Losing those 2 at the front is not good. Roach Hydra composition with that Spire. But the problem for Elfi is that DIMAGA's at this advantage. He's got the unit advantage, the upgrade advantage. He also has this 3rd base as well. So we're going to have to wait for another Colossus. Maybe a 3rd one could squeeze in as well if it's chrono boosted out. And then he's going to have to go. But at the same time, the Spire's at 60 out of 100. Corruptors will be on the way very, very shortly here.
Oh yes, I somehow don't think that DIMAGA is going to allow those Colossus to just stomp all over his army. There's still some time where DIMAGA could attack, but I don't think he really cares. Why would he want to go for it right now? He knows he has the economic advantage. He knows he has full map control. He can see something coming a mile away. He also knows that Elfi's army is really immobile.
And right now we are at these 2 Colossus. The 3rd one is nearly out. It's halfway done. And +1 attack is finished too, so when this 3rd Colossus comes, that is going to be the time that Elfi needs to go. He's got all his money into this cute little army that's pushing out now. The problem is he doesn't have an observer. He does not have ability to take rid of these creep tumors, so it's always going to be an uphill battle fighting on creep. 6 Corruptors in the making now. This is going to be difficult for Elfi.
That's messy. That really, really is. Corruptor's absolutely fantastic against Colossus for very obvious reasons, and of course he can then transition into Broodlords later on if he so desires. He doesn't have the Hive just yet. I don't think he's really interested in going in that direction. direction. If this game piles on for longer, though, no doubt he will. So the question now is, what does Elfi do? He kind of has to push out. He must at least secure a third, because he's starting to fall behind fairly severely in his economy. And DIMAGA, once again, with this really low drone count compared to what you might necessarily expect at this stage of the game, because he wants to fight. That's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to crush his opponent economically by killing all his stuff, as opposed to actually just building loads of drones. Army supply count still in favor of DIMAGA. This creep spread is helping, but the Observer is now there, so at least he can start to push that back. But it will take a while. It takes a long time for that to recede, and DIMAGA with full vision is now going to get into perfect position.
And he should have killed the rocks before engaging here, but nevertheless, Elfi is trapped. Force fields do help him, but this is a big army from DIMAGA with 2-1 upgrades.
DIMAGA is raining it down right now on the increasingly slim forces, and there's another one down. Colossus is going to go, and at this point, Elfi is really desperately trying to hold on, and he must retreat. There's no way he can stay, but of course, how is he going to get out? GG, ladies and gentlemen.